If you look at the newest PC cases released in 2026, you'll notice something immediately. They don't look like the cases from just a few years ago. The shapes are different. The airflow paths are different. The internal layouts are different. Even the materials are changing. And this isn't simply because brands wanted a fresh aesthetic. It's because cooling expectations in the US have shifted so dramatically that case design had to evolve to keep up. The entire PC industry is facing rising thermal demands. Modern CPUs are pushing sustained wattages that would have seemed extreme a decade ago. GPUs are larger, hotter, and built for constant high-load usage. And with more Americans using their PCs for gaming, streaming, creative work, and AI-assisted tasks, long-duration performance matters more than ever. Cooling is no longer a bonus. It's the foundation of system design. That's why new cooling standards appearing across manufacturers are directly influencing how cases are engineered. The first big change is the shift toward full mesh front panels, becoming the industry norm. In the past, manufacturers often prioritized aesthetics over airflow, using solid front plates or minimal intake vents. But newer standards emphasize unrestricted air intake, so PC makers are moving toward mesh designs that span the entire front of the chassis. These aren't the old, loose mesh grills either. They're high-density, dust-filtered, carefully engineered layers optimized for airflow while keeping systems clean. Many cases now promote front airflow performance as their primary selling point. A second major shift is the rise of standardized large fans, especially 140mm and even 160mm placements. New cooling guidelines highlight lower RPM cooling efficiency, and larger fans move more air with less noise. That combination has become a must in a market where buyers want quiet, cool, and efficient systems. PC cases now include expanded mounting rails, deeper interior spacing, and new cutout patterns specifically for these larger fans. Even budget and mid-range cases are designed around big, slow-spinning fans rather than the old 120mm defaults. Then there's the movement toward clear airflow channels, something that was rarely prioritized in older case designs. New standards encourage manufacturers to create direct, unobstructed paths from intake to exhaust. That means fewer decorative elements blocking the front fans, repositioned drive bays, and internal layouts that shift cables and components out of the main airflow highway. You'll see cases in 2026 with raised motherboard trays, recessed cable tunnels, and expanded backside cavities, all so that air inside the case can move freely from one end to the other. Another major change involves GPU thermals. Graphics cards have become the single largest heat source in most PCs, so cases now include dedicated GPU airflow zones. Instead of a general intake cooling the whole system, many cases direct a specific airflow channel toward the GPU area using angled ducts, bottom intakes, and front-to-GPU pathways. Some designs even include vertical mounting rails optimized for airflow rather than aesthetics, ensuring the GPU receives cool intake air instead of recirculated warm air. Speaking of bottom intakes, new cooling standards have brought high-flow bottom ventilation back into focus. For years, bottom airflow was considered secondary and often underused. But with rising GPU heat and the need for multi-direction airflow, bottom vents have become essential. Manufacturers are now adding larger dust filters, reinforced feet to elevate cases higher, and wide mesh openings that allow cool air to enter directly beneath the GPU and PSU zones. Another trend reshaping the industry is the push toward thermal compartmentalization. Instead of one open interior, cases are now dividing components into separate zones, so heat from one part of the system doesn't spill into another. Power supplies are isolated. GPUs have their own airflow path. Storage drives may sit in temperature-stabilized pockets. This zoning strategy leads to more predictable thermals, better efficiency, and quieter systems, something new cooling standards strongly encourage. Side panels are evolving too. Tempered glass used to be purely aesthetic, but modern cases blend style with function. Many 2026 cases introduce vented glass panels, hybrids of glass and mesh, or perforated openings aligned with fan placements. This allows more side intake for GPUs or top-mounted radiators while maintaining the clean, modern appearance buyers want. Another major shift involves top exhaust optimization. New cooling guidelines prioritize upward heat flow because warm air naturally rises. Cases now ship with larger top exhaust cutouts, angled vents for better directionality, and support for bigger radiators without compressing the airflow path. Some designs even include staggered spacing to reduce turbulence and improve thermal stability across long gaming or rendering sessions. Then there's water cooling. A few years ago, liquid cooling support was considered a premium feature. Now, expanded radiator compatibility is standard. New cases leave more room for thicker radiators, larger fans, and flexible mounting options. But more importantly, updated cooling standards are pushing manufacturers to rethink default radiator positioning. Many cases now emphasize top-mounted AIO radiators instead of front-mounted ones because pulling warm air through the radiator reduces overall intake efficiency. The new layouts reflect these insights. The shift toward positive pressure design is another outcome of updated cooling expectations. Positive pressure, where more air enters than exits, reduces dust buildup and improves cooling consistency. Case engineers now balance vent sizes, fan placements, and internal openings to make achieving positive pressure easier for everyday users, even without complex fan curve tuning. Cable management is also being reinvented. Cooling standards call for unobstructed frontal airflow, so manufacturers are hiding more cables behind panels, adding deeper cable channels, introducing snap-in covers, and even repositioning motherboard connectors. Cleaner airflow pathways reduce turbulence and bring temperatures down several degrees without extra fans. All these changes reflect a broader trend. Americans want systems that stay cool, quiet, and efficient, even under heavy workloads. Gamers want stable FPS. Content creators want long-duration performance. Work-from-home professionals want silent systems. And everyone wants hardware that lasts longer by running cooler. PC case makers realize that to meet these expectations and comply with new cooling guidelines, they needed to redesign cases from the ground up. The result is a new generation of enclosures engineered around airflow first, appearance second. The shift we're seeing in 2026 is more than just an upgrade. It's a reset. Airflow is now the blueprint for case design. Engineers are using computational fluid dynamics to model internal air paths. They're integrating larger vents, smarter fan placements,